And conversely, if you get asked about your strengths, you're probably going to be asked about your weaknesses. So this is a difficult one. I can remember coming up with some pat answers when I was doing this one about, trying to sort of make up some of the things that weren't really a weakness, but trying to make them sound like a weakness. So
Yeah.
How would you recommend doing this one?
I must admit, I've been thinking about this and I've come up with different approaches over the years. And there is a school of thought that says, well, what you do is you present a weakness, which is in fact a strength. So you say, well, my weakness is I have a low tolerance for people that have poor work standards or who are unreliable. That's just a bit too textbook. It's a bit too cliched. Clearly, one thing you're not going to do is to expose actual areas of vulnerability. I think I'm not very good at this, or I was reprimanded for this, or I always get this wrong. The safest area is to talk about, I'll give you two ways into it. One is to talk about areas for development. So you say, well, I know that, I'm pretty good at communicating with my team, but one thing that I haven't done so well in the past is to follow up with written communication, but I'm learning to do that, and I made that a discipline and I'm really focused on it. Or you can even talk about something where you're currently training or in area of skill development, which is a very different message. Rather than saying I'm rubbish with Excel, you say I've recognized that's something important that I need to learn, so I've been adding that to my list of learning objectives. The other one is a bit cheekier, which is to say, well, I looked at things that you're looking for here, and I think I can cover everything. And if there's any areas where I don't cover so well, I'm a very fast learner. So that takes a little bit more confidence. But again, it's the sort of message that employers find realistic to hear, because nobody comes completely pre-packaged, certainly not at graduate level. They need to be people who are going to learn fast and get on with the job, but have the confidence to say where they need support and where they need to focus on their own learning.
Yeah, I think the one I settled on was I went for the area of development route. So this was after I come back from a year in China, when I was applying for graduate jobs, and I was learning Chinese at the time, and I think I phrased it as I wasn't very good at languages, but was looking to try and remedy this by actively learning Chinese, I think at the time, just so that I could slot in one of my sort of goals, which was to, bring in about my trip to China. So I had sort of two dual roles. So.
But it's a good point, isn't there, about how do you present this stuff? If you start anything by saying I'm not very good at or I have a problem with, that's a very different impact in the room to say I recognise an area where I need to improve, because one is a much more negative message. Beating yourself up doesn't work very well, because we are all highly tuned to listen for negative information. So if you say something very negative about yourself or your last organization, or even about the course you've just finished, that sticks in the mind, and the interviewer is still processing that when you're talking about something completely different.